The Slime Serpent, Horror from the Abyss. The camera descends through crushing darkness, 3,000 feet below the surface, where sunlight dies and pressure could collapse a human skull like an eggshell. Something moves through the cold silence. It writhes across the seafloor, boneless and serpentine, drawn by the scent of death carried through the black water. When the remotely operated vehicle's spotlight finds it, the creature doesn't flee. Instead, it turns toward the camera, revealing a circular mouth ringed with barbels, like tentacles reaching out to taste the water. This is the hagfish, a living nightmare that has prowled Earth's oceans for over 300 million years, long before dinosaurs walked the land. But what makes this deep-sea scavenger truly terrifying isn't what it eats, or how it eats, or even where it lurks in the crushing depths. It's what happens when you try to catch one. Picture this. A shark closes its jaws around what it thinks is an easy meal. In less than half a second, the water around them transforms into something unnatural, a thick, fibrous cloud that expands 10,000 times its original volume, filling the shark's mouth, clogging its gills, suffocating it from the inside out. The shark releases its grip immediately, thrashing away in panic, desperately trying to expel the substance. The hagfish, completely unharmed, slides free from its cocoon of slime and continues feeding on the whale carcass as if nothing happened. This isn't science fiction. This is the reality of encountering one of Earth's most bizarre survivors, a creature that defies classification, challenges evolution, and reveals just how alien life can be in the deep sea. Welcome to the world of the slime serpent. To understand the hagfish, we must journey back hundreds of millions of years to a time when our planet's oceans were radically different from today. The Paleozoic seas teemed with armored fish, massive arthropods, and creatures whose body plans seem utterly alien to modern eyes. Somewhere between 500 and 400 million years ago, during the dawn of vertebrate evolution, the lineage that would become hagfish split from the ancestors of all jawed animals. They diverged before the evolution of jaws themselves, before proper spines, before many of the features we consider fundamental to vertebrate life. The fossil record for hagfish is sparse. Their soft, boneless bodies rarely fossilize, but what we found is astounding. A fossil discovered in limestone from the Carboniferous period, approximately 300 million years ago, shows a creature remarkably similar to modern hagfish, suggesting these animals found a successful formula early and stuck with it. The rarity of hagfish fossils puzzled scientists for decades until a breakthrough came in 2019. Deep within a slab of Cretaceous limestone from Lebanon, paleontologists at the University of Chicago discovered something extraordinary. A 12-inch long fish preserved in exquisite detail, complete with traces of soft tissue that should have vanished eons ago. They named it Tethys myxine tapirostrum, after the ancient Tethys Ocean where it once swam. Using advanced synchrotron scanning technology, a method that bombards fossils with highly energized particles, researchers identified chemical signatures of keratin, the same protein in our fingernails and hair, concentrated in over 100 locations along the fossilized body. This wasn't just any keratin, these were the remains of slime glands, proving that hagfish possessed their nightmarish defense mechanism at least 100 million years ago when the oceans were patrolled by plesiosaurs, ichthyosaurs, and enormous predatory sharks that make great whites look small. The slime saved them then, just as it does now. But here's what makes the fossil so remarkable. The ancient hagfish looked almost identical to its modern descendants. After 100 million years, an eternity in geological time, long enough for dinosaurs to rise, dominate, and go extinct, hagfish had barely changed at all. This discovery forced scientists to reconsider everything they thought they knew about hagfish evolution. For years, researchers debated whether hagfish were primitive relics from before vertebrates evolved complex features, or whether they had actively lost those features over time. The answer, it turns out, is more fascinating than either theory. Molecular and fossil evidence now suggest that hagfish once possessed more complex anatomical structures, proper eyes, potentially more advanced sensory systems, but shed these features as they adapted to life as deep-sea scavengers. They didn't fail to evolve, they evolved backward, streamlining their bodies for a specific ecological niche with ruthless efficiency. Fossil hagfish from the Carboniferous period show evidence of functioning eyes, but somewhere along the evolutionary timeline, hagfish lost them. In the perpetual darkness of the abyss, eyes became unnecessary weight, metabolic cost without benefit. Better to pour resources into other senses, into the slime glands that would become their ultimate weapon. The hagfish survived not because they were the strongest or the fastest, but because they became something no predator wanted to touch. When the asteroid struck 66 million years ago, wiping out the dinosaurs and 75% of all species on Earth, hagfish kept scavenging in the depths, unaffected by the catastrophe that ended the age of reptiles. When ice ages locked up Earth's water and sea levels dropped, hagfish adapted. When volcanic eruptions poisoned the oceans and mass extinctions swept away countless marine species, hagfish endured. Their secret was simple. In a world of scarcity, where food could be months apart and predators lurked everywhere, the hagfish became the ultimate survivor. They could survive without oxygen for 36 hours. They could go months without eating. They possessed the most effective defense mechanism in the ocean, and they had virtually no competition for their food source because what they specialized in eating, dead and dying creatures on the seafloor, was something most animals avoided. But survival came at a price. To become the ultimate scavenger, hagfish transformed into something that barely resembles a vertebrate at all. Imagine a creature so alien that challenges our basic definitions of animal life. The hagfish possesses a skull, but no spine, just a flexible rod of cartilage called a notochord running through its eel-like body. No bones anywhere, just soft tissue and cartilage, allowing it to compress and contort into shapes that would snap the skeleton of any bony fish. Its skin is loose and remarkably tough, more like a sack than a fitted covering, letting the hagfish tie itself into knots and slide through openings half the width of its body. Some researchers have watched hagfish squeeze through spaces so tight it seems physically impossible, their bodies flowing like liquid through gaps in rocks and crevices in coral. This isn't just flexibility, it's a fundamental reimagining of what a vertebrate body can be. The hagfish's head is where things get truly unsettling. Instead of eyes, many species have only rudimentary eye spots buried beneath skin and muscle, organs so degraded they can barely detect light, let alone form images. The hagfish is, for all practical purposes, blind. But in the eternal darkness 3,000 feet down, blindness isn't a disability, it's irrelevant. The hagfish navigates its world through other means, senses so refined they border on supernatural. Around its mouth, thick barbels covered in chemoreceptors probe the water constantly, tasting it for the faint chemical signature of decay. A hagfish can detect a whale carcass from miles away, following scent trails through the cold water with unerring accuracy. Its lateral line system, a series of sensors running along its body, picks up vibrations and pressure changes, painting a picture of its surroundings through movement and disturbance. In the hagfish's world, you don't need to see, you need to smell, to feel, to sense the dying and the dead, and at that, the hagfish is a master. Then there's the mouth. Not really a mouth at all, but a circular opening lined with tooth-like rasps made of keratin. The hagfish has no jaws. It physically cannot bite in the way we understand biting. Instead, it possesses what looks like a tongue, but functions more like a mechanical piston, lined with rows of sharp rasps that can pinch together when retracted. When a hagfish feeds, it extends the structure, snags flesh, and retracts it, tearing away chunks of meat through sheer mechanical force. But here's where it gets ingenious. The hagfish will often tie its entire body into a knot and work that knot from head to tail, using the leverage to rip away larger pieces of flesh. Picture it, a boneless creature tying itself into a pretzel to gain the mechanical advantage needed to tear apart its meal. It's a feeding strategy so bizarre, so alien,
that when scientists first observed it, they could barely believe what they were seeing. The hagfish's adaptations to the crushing pressure of the deep sea are equally remarkable. At depths where pressure reaches 400 atmospheres, 400 times the pressure at sea level, the hagfish thrives. Its soft, boneless body has no air spaces to compress, no rigid structures to crack under strain. The cellular makeup of its tissues has evolved to function optimally under these extreme conditions. Research has shown that hagfish possess pressure-dependent enzyme systems that actually work more efficiently under high pressure than at surface levels. Bring a hagfish to the surface too quickly, and it doesn't explode or die from pressure change like many deep-sea creatures. It simply becomes stressed from the temperature change and lack of pressure. The hagfish has made peace with the crushing weight of the ocean, turning what would kill most creatures into its natural environment. And we haven't even discussed the slime yet, the infamous, horrifying, beautiful slime that makes the hagfish one of the most successful defensive organisms on Earth. Along each side of a hagfish's body, roughly 90 slime glands sit embedded in the skin, each one a loaded weapon waiting to fire. These aren't ordinary mucus glands. Inside each gland, tightly coiled threads of keratin proteins sit suspended in a mucus space, compressed into packages no bigger than a couple of millimeters across. Each gland is surrounded by muscle that can contract with explosive force, shooting the contents into the surrounding water. When threatened, when a shark bites down, when a fish tries to swallow it, when danger approaches, the hagfish releases this material. The moment those protein threads hit seawater, something extraordinary happens. The threads unravel instantly, expanding and tangling with water molecules, creating a gel-like substance that expands to 10,000 times its original volume in less than half a second. A single hagfish, roughly 20 inches long, can produce enough slime to fill a 2-gallon bucket in minutes. The slime is almost impossibly effective, fibrous, sticky, and so viscous it can clog the gills of predatory fish, suffocating them even as they try to breathe. Research shows that no gill-breathing predator has ever been observed successfully eating a hagfish. Not one. Sharks bite and retreat. Seals try and fail. Fish attempt to swallow them and immediately spit them out, gagging, desperately trying to clear their gills of the suffocating goo. The slime is so efficient, so overwhelming, that after one encounter, predators remember, they learn, they never try to eat a hagfish again. But producing that much slime comes with a problem. The hagfish can also suffocate in its own defensive mechanism. Watch footage of a threatened hagfish and you'll witness something bizarre. The creature literally sneezes out its own nostrils, expelling slime that is built up in its respiratory system. And when the immediate danger passes, when the predator flees and the hagfish needs to move freely again, it employs that same knotting behavior it uses for feeding. The hagfish ties its body into an overhand knot and slides that knot from head to tail, mechanically scraping off the slime, cleaning itself like someone squeegeeing water off a window. Within seconds, it's clean, free, and ready to resume whatever it was doing before being interrupted. The whole process is so alien, so unlike anything else in nature, that it seems more like science fiction than reality. Yet it happens countless times every day in oceans across the planet. The deep sea where hagfish thrive is an alien world, as hostile to human life as the surface of Mars. Imagine descending through the ocean's layers, watching the blue-green water darken to deep indigo, then purple, then black. By 200 meters, sunlight becomes a memory, barely enough to see by. By 1,000 meters, the edge of the midnight zone, darkness becomes absolute. A blackness so complete it feels physical, pressing against your eyes like a weight. The temperature hovers just above freezing, cold enough that warmth becomes a distant concept. And the pressure becomes something you can feel in your bones, a crushing force that would collapse human lungs and rupture organs in seconds. Yet this is the hagfish's home. This is where it feels comfortable, where it belongs. Scientists estimate there are 76 known species of hagfish spread across the world's oceans, and likely dozens more waiting to be discovered in unexplored depths. In the Tasmanian fracture zone off Tasmania, researchers using remotely operated vehicles have documented hagfish at depths exceeding 4,000 meters, over 13,000 feet down, where the pressure reaches 400 atmospheres, 400 times the pressure at sea level. In the Gulf of Mexico, 3 species inhabit 3 different depth ranges, each carved into its own ecological niche. Eptatratus springer between 400 and 700 meters, Maini MC Miliane ranging from 500 to 1100 meters, and Eptatratus minor in the shallower zones between 400 and 500 meters. They segregate by depth, by substrate preference, by subtle differences in temperature and food availability. The ocean floor at these depths is mostly soft mud and silt, occasionally broken by rock outcrops and underwater ridges. No plants grow here, no photosynthesis is possible without light. The entire ecosystem runs on what marine biologists call marine snow, the constant rain of dead and decaying matter drifting down from the sunlit zones above. Whale carcasses that sink to the bottom can support entire communities of scavengers for years, creating temporary oases of abundance in a desert of scarcity.
This is where hagfish excel. While other scavengers arrive, feed, and move on, hagfish are often the first to find food fall and frequently the last to leave. They can detect chemical signatures in the water from miles away, following scent trails with patient determination. Their low metabolism, one of the lowest among all vertebrates, means they can survive months between meals, making them perfectly suited for an environment where food is sporadic but occasionally abundant. A dead whale can draw dozens or even hundreds of hagfish, and when they arrive, they don't just feed on the surface, they burrow inside. Watch underwater footage of hagfish feeding, and you'll see something deeply unsettling. The dead whale's body appears to pulse and writhe as if still alive. But it's not the whale moving, it's the mass of hagfish inside, consuming it from within, hollowing it out until only skin and bones remain. They enter through any opening, the mouth, the gills, natural body openings, or wounds in the flesh, and systematically devour the soft tissue, leaving behind a collapsed sack of skin wrapped around the skeleton. It's efficient, thorough, and more than a little horrifying to witness. In this environment, the hagfish encounters few living prey animals. Most of what moves through the midnight zone is either too fast to catch or too well defended to attack. So hagfish have become opportunistic generalists, scavenging dead fish and marine mammals, but also hunting living prey when the opportunity presents itself. Polychaete worms, bristly, segmented creatures that live in and on the seafloor, make up a significant portion of the hagfish diet. Hermit crabs, shrimp, small cephalopods, brittle stars, and dying fish all fall prey to these relentless hunters. Research analyzing hagfish stomach contents has revealed an astonishing variety of prey items, suggesting these creatures will eat nearly anything organic they can subdue or find already dead. They're not picky eaters, they're survival machines that have evolved to extract energy from whatever the ocean provides. But the deep sea isn't peaceful. It's a place of sudden, violent disruptions. Benthic storms, powerful underwater currents caused by falling objects or the movements of large marine animals, can sweep across the seafloor without warning, burying creatures in silt and mud, destroying the delicate structures built by bottom dwellers. When a whale carcass hits the bottom, it doesn't drift gently down, it crashes like a meteor, sending shockwaves through the mud, creating a crater, announcing its presence to every scavenger within miles. Hagfish feel these disturbances through their lateral line systems, through vibrations in the substrate, and they come. Always they come. They emerge from the mud where they've been burrowing, from rock crevices where they've been hiding, and they converge on the source of the disturbance, drawn by the promise of food in a place where meals are measured in months, not days. The first systematic study of deep-sea hagfish began in 1872. When the HMS Challenger embarked on what would become one of history's most important scientific expeditions. Over 4 years, this converted survey ship traveled 127,000 kilometers, collecting samples from ocean depths never before explored. The scientists aboard discovered over 4,700 new species, including the first confirmed deep-sea hagfish specimens. They pulled these strange eel-like creatures from depths that seemed impossible for life to exist, and they had no idea what they were looking at. Were they fish? Were they something else entirely? The debate would rage for over a century. In 1930, William Beebe and Otis Barton became the first humans to personally witness the deep sea when they descended 435 meters in the bathysphere, a spherical steel chamber. Through the porthole, they observed hagfish among the jellyfish and shrimp, watching these creatures move through the darkness with alien grace.
By 1934, they reached 923 meters, pushing deeper into the abyss, documenting a world humans had only imagined. Modern deep-sea exploration has revealed even more about these enigmatic creatures. The development of remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, equipped with cameras, robotic arms, and sampling equipment, has allowed researchers to observe hagfish in their natural habitat without the limitations of manned submersibles. The Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution's DSV Alvin has conducted over 3,000 dives, many of which encountered hagfish feeding on whale falls or burrowed in the mud. NOAA's ship Okeanos Explorer, equipped with advanced ROV technology, has documented hagfish behavior at depths exceeding 6,000 meters. The footage reveals creatures that seem almost peaceful, gliding across the seafloor with serpentine movements, investigating their surroundings with methodical patience. But when threatened, when the ROV's manipulator arm reaches too close, the transformation is instant. Slime erupts into the water, clouding the camera, forcing the researchers to pull back and wait for the water to clear. Even through a video screen, thousands of miles away and perfectly safe, watching that slime deploy triggers something primal, a recognition that we're seeing a defense mechanism perfected over hundreds of millions of years. In 2011, researchers published a groundbreaking study in the journal Nature, documenting hagfish-predator interactions near New Zealand. They placed bait bags on the ocean floor and set up cameras to record what happened. Over 14 separate occasions, they captured footage of larger predatory fish, including kitefin sharks attempting to consume hagfish that had come to feed on the bait. In every single instance, the result was the same. The predator bit down, the hagfish deployed its slime, and the predator immediately released and retreated, gagging and struggling to clear its gills. The hagfish, in all cases, appeared completely unharmed and often continued feeding as if nothing had happened. The predators moved away, visibly distressed, and did not attempt to attack the hagfish again. The footage was unequivocal. No gill-breathing predator could successfully eat the hagfish. The slime defense was perfect. The only predators that can consume hagfish are air-breathing animals, seals, diving seabirds, and occasionally whales that can simply gulp them down and don't need to breathe through gills. This explains why hagfish are found primarily at depths where air-breathing predators rarely venture. The deep sea isn't just their preferred habitat, it's their refuge, the place where their defense mechanism makes them virtually invulnerable.
Scientists at Stanford University have used advanced imaging technology to study the structure of hagfish slime at the molecular level, and what they've found has implications far beyond marine biology. The keratin threads in hagfish slime are stronger than spider silk when measured by tensile strength. When dried, they resemble silk threads, smooth, strong, and flexible. Researchers are now investigating whether these threads could be harvested and used to create biosynthetic fibers for clothing, surgical sutures, or even body armor. The proteins that make up the slime are being studied for potential applications in medicine and materials science. A defensive mechanism evolved 300 million years ago might soon find applications in human technology, a testament to the ingenuity of evolution and the value of studying Earth's most bizarre creatures. But harvesting hagfish for their slime raises troubling questions about conservation and sustainable fishing practices. Here's the uncomfortable truth. We don't know much about hagfish reproduction, population dynamics, or how quickly they can recover from overfishing. Obtaining embryos and observing reproductive behavior has proven incredibly difficult because hagfish live so deep and are so hard to track. What we do know is concerning. Females lay between 1 and 30 tough, yolky eggs that stick together due to Velcro-like tufts at either end. We've observed hagfish curled around egg masses, but we don't know if they actually guard or care for their eggs. We have no idea how long the eggs take to hatch or what the juvenile hagfish do in their early life stages. We don't even have a reliable way to age individual hagfish. Their tooth-like rasps continuously regenerate, so we can't count growth rings like we do with many fish species. Some researchers suspect hagfish can live for decades, perhaps even longer, which would make them particularly vulnerable to overfishing. Slow-growing, long-lived species with low reproductive rates are exactly the kind of animals that collapse when fishing pressure becomes too intense.
and fishing pressure on hagfish is increasing. In Korea, hagfish are considered a delicacy, served cooked or broiled with red pepper sauce. Commercial fisheries have developed to supply this market, trawling the ocean bottom with specialized gear to catch hagfish by the hundreds. In Alaska, a test fishery in southern southeast Alaska caught 99% black hagfish and only 1% Pacific hagfish, the opposite ratio of what's found off Oregon, Washington, and California, suggesting different populations with potentially different vulnerabilities. We're fishing these populations without knowing how many exist, how fast they reproduce, or how much pressure they can sustain. It's a recipe for disaster, one we've seen play out with countless other marine species. The International Union for Conservation of Nature assessed hagfish species in 2011 and found that 12% were at elevated risk of extinction. One species was critically endangered, 2 were endangered, 6 were vulnerable, and 2 were near threatened. These numbers should alarm us, but hagfish don't inspire the same conservation urgency as pandas or whales. They're too strange, too alien, too uncomfortable to look at. They're the ocean's janitors, its cleanup crew, and we're only just beginning to understand how important they are to deep-sea ecosystems. Consider the ecological role hagfish play. They're among the ocean's most efficient recyclers of organic matter. When large animals die and sink to the seafloor, hagfish convert that biomass back into nutrients that can be used by other organisms. They prevent the accumulation of rotting carcasses and help maintain the health of deep-sea ecosystems by processing dead tissue that would otherwise decay slowly in the cold, oxygen-poor waters. Remove hagfish from an ecosystem, and you remove a critical link in the nutrient cycle. The consequences could ripple through the entire food web in ways we're only beginning to understand. Deep-sea ecologists are discovering that these environments are far more interconnected and delicate than we ever imagined. The deep ocean isn't a barren wasteland, it's a complex ecosystem operating under extreme conditions, and hagfish are keystone species within it. Their loss would be felt throughout the system. But here's what truly haunts researchers who study these creatures. Hagfish might be telling us something important about the limits of vertebrate biology, about what's possible when evolution takes a path we don't expect. For a century, biologists debated whether hagfish were primitive survivors from before vertebrates developed complex features, or whether they were modern animals that had simplified themselves. The discovery of the Tevimyxine fossil, with its preserved slime glands and eerily modern appearance, suggests the latter. Hagfish aren't evolutionary relics frozen in time. They're highly specialized animals that shed unnecessary features and refined their core adaptations to near perfection. They show us that evolution isn't always about adding complexity. Sometimes it's about subtraction, about streamlining, about finding the simplest possible solution to survival. The hagfish looked at the vertebrate body plan, bones, jaws, eyes, all the structures we think of as essential, and said, "I don't need any of that." And it was right. It's been right for 300 million years. Scientists studying hagfish physiology have discovered other remarkable adaptations that challenge our understanding of vertebrate biology. Hagfish possess the lowest blood pressure of any vertebrate, with a circulatory system so primitive it seems impossible it could function. Yet it does, and beautifully. They have the highest blood volume relative to body mass of any chordate, 17 milliliters per 100 grams of tissue, which helps maintain pressure in their soft, non-rigid bodies. Instead of a single heart, hagfish possess multiple pumping organs, one primary heart, plus 3 accessory hearts scattered throughout their body, working together to keep blood flowing through a creature that has no bones to protect vessels and no rigid structure to maintain pressure. Their respiratory system is equally bizarre. They don't have true gills like other fish, but rather gill pouches that connect to the pharynx, pulling water in through the nose and expelling it through multiple gill openings. Some species have 6 gill openings on each side, others have 15. The variation suggests that even this basic system is still evolving, still being refined across different hagfish lineages.
But perhaps the most important thing hagfish teach us isn't about biology or evolution or deep-sea ecology. It's about perspective. In a world where we categorize animals as cute or ugly, useful or worthless, important or insignificant, hagfish force us to reconsider those judgments. They're not charismatic megafauna. They're not the animals conservation campaigns feature on posters. Most people's first reaction upon seeing a hagfish is disgust, revulsion, a desire to look away. Yet these creatures perform vital ecological functions, possess extraordinary adaptations, and have survived longer than almost any other vertebrate lineage on Earth. They remind us that nature doesn't care about our aesthetic preferences, that evolution rewards survival rather than beauty, and that some of Earth's most successful animals look nothing like what we expect. The ocean is full of such creatures, bizarre, alien, uncomfortable to contemplate, and yet essential to the health of marine ecosystems, and perhaps even to understanding life itself. As our planet changes, as ocean temperatures rise and acidification accelerates and dead zones expand, the creatures of the deep sea face unprecedented challenges. Will hagfish survive the next great change as they've survived all previous ones? They possess remarkable tolerance for low oxygen and have survived countless climate shifts, but the speed of current changes is unlike anything in the geological record. We're conducting an uncontrolled experiment on the world's oceans, and the results won't be known for decades or centuries. What we do know is that losing species like hagfish would impoverish the ocean in ways we're only beginning to understand. Every species lost is a library burned, a solution to survival's problems erased, a branch of evolution's tree cut away forever. The hagfish lineage has been continuously evolving for at least 300 million years, possibly longer. That represents an unbroken chain of survival through every mass extinction, every climate catastrophe, every environmental upheaval Earth has experienced. Breaking that chain would be a tragedy not just for hagfish, but for science, for ecology, for our understanding of life's resilience and adaptability. So the next time you hear someone mention hagfish, probably with a shudder of disgust, remember what you now know. Remember that these creatures have survived longer than almost anything else with a backbone. Remember that their slime defense is so effective that no predator with gills can eat them. Remember that they possess adaptations so bizarre that scientists are still discovering new ones. Remember that they clean the ocean floor, recycling nutrients that sustain deep-sea ecosystems. Remember that they're helping us develop new materials and medical treatments. And remember that in the crushing darkness 3,000 feet down, where pressure would kill a human in seconds, where cold and emptiness reign supreme, the hagfish glides through its world with perfect confidence, a master of its domain, a survivor of eons. It's been called the slime serpent, the most disgusting creature in the sea, a nightmare from the abyss. But maybe it's time we called it something else, a success story, a testament to the power of evolution to find solutions we've never imagined, a reminder that life's triumph isn't always beautiful, but it's always worth protecting. In the end, the hagfish poses a question we must answer. How do we value life in the deep sea? How do we protect creatures we rarely see, in places we can barely reach, whose existence seems alien to our surface-dwelling experience? The hagfish has survived this long without our help, but whether it can survive the age of industrial fishing, climate change, and ocean acidification remains uncertain. What is certain is this: the world would be poorer without these ancient scavengers, these slime-spewing survivors, these boneless enigmas that have witnessed the rise and fall of countless species while themselves remaining largely unchanged. They've earned their place in Earth's ecosystems through 300 million years of patient survival. Now it's up to us to ensure they have another 300 million years ahead of them, gliding through the darkness, tying themselves into knots, and filling the deep sea with their extraordinary, horrifying, beautiful slime. The abyss would be a lonelier place without them.